The Zone at 91.3 presents The B-Side.
Dan Gunn, man!
Hey, Dylan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Jason. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. You looking for a friend here?
Very much so, yeah.
Me too.
Dude, we haven't seen you for so long. You just came back from the desert, Burning Man. Jason said you look like a guy that just came back from the desert, and you were quite proud from that.
No, he said I don't look like
Oh,
a
you
guy.
don't?
No, he
Yeah.
looks.
Oh, that's why I was confused, because you were like, yeah, that's the point.
No, he looks perfect. He smells nice. He's all
I know.
dressed to the nines.
I think it's important when you come home to just try and look legit for a little while.
Clean after living in the desert for
I'm
a couple
probably going to
weeks.
say a few crazy things over the next little while, so I better look normal.
That's okay. That's just called a flashback. Well, welcome back. Great to see you as
Yeah,
always,
thanks for
my
having
friend.
me.
What do we got today on the B-side?
Well, just the other night, so while I'm away, a tweet goes out, hey, Livet's open. And so I was at an event at the Fort Tectoria 3 nights ago. And people were mentioning that it was open. I was like, what? I'm really excited about that. So Livet is a new, it's like a tapas cocktail bar. It's a second-story restaurant. I love second-story restaurants with patios overlooking,
And they've got a
corners.
huge patio.
Yeah, and it's right across the street from the Royal Theater. And so right away I was like, well, as soon as this event's over, I went over with like 12 other people from the tech sector, and we checked it out. Really nice vibe, really good decor. I'm excited about it, and I'm really excited about it because Fort Realty. So I know Suzanne and Jane Bradbury. They're the family that owns Fort Realty. So things like chorizo on Fort, fish hook on Fort.
Both fantastic places, by the way.
So the real estate behind that is the Bradburys, the Bradbury family. So they own property all around Fort Street, and they bought that building. I guess it used to be a Van City or an Island Savings at one point across from the Royal.
The Mullet Man had a party there once
right.
for his
That's
mullet.
right.
Didn't
Yeah,
you go?
I was
think
there.
you and
Yeah, I was at that party.
I was there. I was
Yeah.
there.
That's right. Yeah, we were all there together. Look at us.
Yeah, we were all in my office before that party.
That's right.
I couldn't get my turntable to work after Jason touched it, but I figured it out afterwards.
So it was an old bank, and then it was totally empty in there. So the
Yeah.
Mullet Man had a party for his mullet.
That's right. Yeah.
And now it's actually a thing.
Now it's a thing. And so the Bradburys came to me and they said, the tech sector is moving in all over Fort Street. What do you think's needed? And I was like, we need a good local. Like, we need a place where we can, late afternoon, early evening, go for a couple cocktails. I suggested a brew pub would be cool. But that was last time we talked about it, 18 months ago. And then the renovation started, and then all of a sudden Livet opened. Also, Ticket Rocket took an office in there, which is a local company that does ticket systems. We've talked about them on the B-side. Discovery Coffee moved. They had a small shop in that building. They've moved to the corner now. It's as a guy who has a coffee shop around the corner, bummer, but it's amazing. It looks great. Like, I haven't been in it yet, but the vibe looks cool. It's good. I think our coffee cachet has gone up another level.
And, I will say, not stepping on anybody's toes, but Discovery Coffee, their coffee that they roast themselves is by far my favorite coffee.
Yeah, it's a good coffee for
of
sure.
all time.
I love Discovery. I love the guys behind Discovery too. I think it's a great story. Across the street, the Clay Pigeon closed a little while ago. But another place is open. It's got a C in the name. I just noticed it too. It looks kind of like a bar, like an urban bar. So that's great. And another thing in that same neighborhood, not all of these are in the Fort Realty portfolio, but I'd also tried Choux Choux Charcuterie this week. Remember we got on a big thing.
Oh, I'm into charcuterie right now.
The 5 meats and cheeses.
Yeah.
And so somehow I didn't know about Choux Choux Charcuterie. And then another company called Zinc PR Strategies moved into 838 Fort, which is the Summit building. Another full of tech companies building. And so the person who runs that, Marcy, she sent out a thing like, it's really hard to concentrate at work when all I can smell is charcuterie. So I raced down the street and had lunch there. Blew my mind.
Really?
I said, here's $15. Fill up a thing with 5 meats and cheeses, dealer's choice. Yeah. And they sent me back to my office, and it was amazing, fantastic. So that whole block, what's going on around there, it just keeps getting better. We've been there 2 years. And it's 500 times better than it was when we got there.
Yeah, I don't want to blow smoke up your ass here, but I'm just saying the timing is fairly coincidental that when you guys put Fort Victoria in there, the explosion of amazing, lively, awesome local things. All of a sudden, Fort Street it's not Antique Row anymore. It's awesome local row.
Yeah.
And there's great stuff in that quarter.
You're right. We timed it great. Like we opened and Taco Fino let us know they were moving in 2 doors down.
Right, yeah.
Another taco place opened across the street.
You got Ditch Records.
Oh, yeah, of
You've
course,
got the charcuterie place you're talking about, on and on and on.
Yeah,
it's
that
such
whole
a cool
area
area.
has gotten really great. And, it's not just Fort Tectoria. At 838, there's a Summit. At 844 Courtney now, there's another building full of tech companies. So we're starting to see these like 20,000 square foot buildings fill up with 5 or 10 tech companies at a time. And they love beer, and they love food, and they love music. And so me too. And that's great for me having them around because it gives us some influence and buying power.
Nice.
Okay, well, we look forward to going and checking out the new Livet and Discovery. Well, that whole complex sounds fantastic.
And come by at Electric Avenue at Rifflandia. We're going to have Rocket Sauce, the art car, set up there. Not shooting fire. I will be BC certified soon, but I just learned yesterday there's something called being BC certified to shoot fire.
Yeah, this isn't the desert, Dan. This is Victoria. Yeah. You're back in Victoria now.
That was the cold shower I got when I got home.
All right, so more information on all of this?
Always check thebside.com.
Great to have you back. Thanks, buddy.
Sorry about the turntable.